All right. So let me start by introducing myself. My name is Mandy. Um, a lot of you already know me. You're either related to me or were previous clients of mine, or I have some new people on here. It is fun to see some of my clients that I've never seen in person in real life. It's nice to see your faces. So thanks so much for joining us. And those of you who are new, thanks for coming. Um, I'm really excited to share this trip with you, but let me start first by telling you a little bit about myself. Um, so my name is Mandy. I've worked with magical memory planners for almost 7 years, selling travel for families, and my job is to make your life easier. Vacation can be really stressful, and there's so many things that you have to think about when you go on vacation. So I'm here to kind of help you through every step of the process. And Alaska certainly is one of those trips because, it's kind of a bucket list trip. And so most people don't go to Alaska more than once, and so it's nice to have somebody kind of walk you through that. So that's what I'm here for. Um, I book everything. So even if you're not interested in Alaska, I book cruises to other destinations. I book all inclusives. I book Europe. I book Disney World and Universal. So anything that you are interested in, even if at the end of tonight you go, Alaska's not really for me, that's okay. There's lots of other destinations, and I'd love to help you get anywhere you want to go. So I also want to introduce my husband, Brian, who I'm going to make come on a little bit. For those of you who have worked with me in the past, you know that Brian is almost always in the background doing something, whether he's helping you with flights or giving you dining recommendations. That's his favorite thing to do, I think. Setting up this presentation, he's doing all the things behind the scenes. So this is just a chance for you to see his face. There it is. And my great boss, Allison, who is the owner of Magical Memory Planners, is on here too. She's fabulous. If you don't know Allison, you should. I met her because she started booking our trips years ago. And we were like, wow, you have the best job ever. How do you get that job? And now here I am today, and all thanks to Allison. Do you want to say anything, Allison? I don't know if you can. Brian has to unmute you.
There we go. I was tried to unmute myself, but I had to get your permission. So, yeah, I'm Allison from Magical Memory Planners. We've been selling travel around the world for, oh my gosh, 14 years now, I guess, or so. So, super excited to work with Manny and have her as a part of our team. And I just want to shout out to my background, my virtual background. I'm not in Alaska currently, but I did take this picture myself on an Alaskan cruise from my cruise ship on my phone. That is how spectacular Alaska is, that my lack of skill still looks ridiculously amazing. It's an amazing destination, and I'm excited for you to hear about it tonight and hopefully work with Mandy to get yourselves there in the coming years. So I'm excited to see the presentation as well, and let's have a good night.
Thanks, Allison. All right. So, some things that we are going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about why did we pick to cruise with Princess Cruise Line to go to Alaska. I'm going to give you some details, a little bit about our experiences with Princess already. We're going to talk about the actual itinerary that I've chosen. Where does it go? What are some opportunities that you have with that itinerary? I'm going to give you stateroom and pricing options. And then we're going to talk about what are the benefits of being part of a group. Why is this something that you would do with a group? Why would you not just, say, I want to go to Alaska on this day, and you just pick the day that works best for you? So what's the benefit of being part of this? And then some pre and post cruise options. So if at any point you have questions, feel free to just type them in the chat. Brian, he's on that. So we will answer them then when we get to the end. But yeah, if you have questions, I know if I don't ask right away, I always forget. So don't feel like you have to wait till the end. Feel free to type that in the chat. Okay. So we're going to jump right in. Um, I love cruising. I had never been on a cruise until I was a travel agent, and Allison was like, "You have to cruise. You're going to love this." And I did, and it is now my favorite way to travel. I love cruising. We have cruised with Princess, we have cruised with Disney, we have cruised with Royal Caribbean, Virgin Voyages, lots of different options. So, why did we pick Princess? Well, Princess has been voted as the best cruise line in Alaska. You can see on that slide 22 times. I feel like that says a lot right there. And the more research I did, the more I was pretty sure I wanted to sail with Alaska with Princess to Alaska. So in 2024, we took a Caribbean cruise with Princess because we wanted to be sure that we liked the product before we were going to invest the money for an Alaska trip. We had the best time. It was Brian and I, and we took our two kids, and they were, oh my goodness, how old were they then? 7 and 4. And it was fabulous. We loved everything about it. The one thing that always stands out to us is they have some of the best food that we have had on any cruise line. So that's always really nice. Um, I was in a training recently with Princess, and were talking about why would people cruise with Princess to Alaska, and they said, we don't visit Alaska, we live in Alaska. And I just felt like that really says a lot, right? This is not just a vacation for them. This is what they do, and they do it really well. So there's a lot of different things that make the Alaska cruise special. But real quick, before I get into that, you can see on there they were voted for best shipboard tech. They have these things called medallions that everybody gets when they get on the ship, and it's a key for your room. You can use it to purchase merchandise. You can use it to buy things like drinks or, specialty dining. It's attached to your onboard account. So we just had them on wristbands, and we wore them, and it was really easy. Our kids had them also. We would use them to sign them in and out of the kids' clubs. Really super simple. Some reasons you would pick them for Alaska. They have premier glacier access. The ships are designed to be in Alaska, so they know what they need. Again, they live in Alaska. They're not just visiting. And then again, it says on there, exceptional comfort and dining. The dining, fabulous. I can't even tell you enough about that. And Brian is going to put on a real quick video for you to watch about princesses. They have a program called North to Alaska that really makes them stand out from other cruise lines.
In the language of those who knew it first, it has always been known for generations as the Great Land. And for those who sail north to Alaska with Princess Cruises, it's one of the greatest discoveries of a lifetime. No one can show you the natural beauty, the rich history, and the adventurous spirit of Alaska like Princess Cruises. We've earned a reputation as the leader in voyages to the Great Land. And now we're making those experiences greater still. Our award-winning North to Alaska program introduces a series of authentic onboard experiences. You'll hear stories, meet the people, savor the food, discover the entertainment and traditions, and of course, come to know the natural splendor. Your voyage to Alaska is a chance to explore new culinary experiences, so we're bringing a variety of fresh Alaska seafood on board, including king crab, king salmon, and halibut. You can look forward to Alaska cuisine throughout the ship, including authentic, fresh Alaska seafood in the main dining rooms, featuring a special Alaska-themed dinner. And for an exclusive culinary experience highlighting the pinnacle of fresh seafood, our chefs can cook and serve fish caught while on select fishing excursions through our Cook My Catch program. From the ocean to your table, it doesn't get much fresher than this. Journey to Alaska with Princess Cruises, and you'll look deep into the lives, stories, and culture of a land rich with history. Backed by popular demand is a chance to learn more about the intense seagoing adventures of the shipmates on Discovery Channel's Deadliest Catch. You'll also be able to explore what life is like as a true Alaskan lumberjack. Meet Libby Riddles, the first woman to win the Iditarod dog sledding race. Hear firsthand from mountain climbers who have conquered Denali at Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. And meet some of Skagway's newest sled dogs right in the piazza. Learn insider tips and tricks for capturing the very best photos of the Great Land from award-winning Alaska photographers. And meet even more incredible local Alaskans up close and personal on board select sailings, including renowned authors and storytellers, sure to captivate your attention. And of course, you can count on iconic Princess Alaska experiences, like Glacier Bay Rangers coming aboard to talk about the natural beauty of the region, and our signature Glacier Bay balcony breakfast. Everyone in your family will also find plenty of exciting experiences through our Discovery at Sea partnership. Programs especially for kids focus on the wildlife and nature of Alaska. You'll be able to view the territory up close with exclusive excursions through Discovery and Animal Planet. We look forward to welcoming you to Alaska's #1 vacation experience, a Travel Weekly Gold Magellan Award-winning program bringing the frontier on board and helping you create your own Alaska stories through experiences you'll never forget. We invite you to join us as we share the majestic spirit of the Great Land and sail north to Alaska.
Okay, so that just kind of gives you a little bit of information about that North to Alaska program that Princess does. Just some things I want to point out that I think are so cool. The all the fresh seafood that they bring on board from Alaska. It's fresh there. You know, we're in port. It's coming on the ship that day. That's really cool. They have a program called Cook Your Catch, where if you go on a certain Princess Cruise Line excursion, you can go fishing, catch salmon, and bring it back on the ship, and they'll cook it for you for dinner that night. That's what Ben wants to do. He wants to catch a fish and eat it. That's like his Alaska goal. Um, when we go to Glacier Bay National Park, they bring park rangers on board, and there's programs on the ship where the park rangers talk to you about the glaciers and protecting the wildlife and things like that. If you don't want to be in an auditorium watching that, it's broadcast through all the staterooms. You can watch it on your TV so that you can be on your balcony. I'm sure it'll be on, there's a big TV on the pool deck. They'll probably have it on there as well. So you can be outside viewing everything, but still be learning about the area that you're visiting as well. They do puppies in the piazza. This is what I'm most excited for. They're going to bring the sled dog puppies onto the ship. And they bring them in the big area called the piazza where you first board. And we just watched a YouTube video of this the other day, and this girl was like cuddling this little puppy, and he was so cute. And I was like, she's gonna put him in her coat and she's gonna walk away, and I'm gonna watch her do it and figure out how she does it because I'm gonna do it too. So that's a really cute thing that they do. They have local guest speakers, people from the Iditarod, or people who have written books about Alaska stories. So you're getting to interact with the locals a little bit. And then for us, another thing I really like is the partnership with Discovery Channel and Animal Planet. When we cruised with Princess in 2024, we did the Caribbean in July. And we were with them over Shark Week. And every time the kids went to the kids club, they were doing activities about sharks. The crafts were about sharks. They were doing games about sharks and just a lot of like informational, educational things. And the kids loved it. So that's something I'm excited for my kids to experience. Another reason to pick a Princess for Alaska is there are a lot of laws in Alaska that protect the wildlife. So there's certain areas such as Glacier Bay National Park where only 2 or 3 ships are allowed in that area per day to protect the wildlife. Princess Cruise Line has 2 out of the 3 of them. So that's something that if you sail with other cruise lines, you might not get to go to Glacier Bay National Park. So just, something that kind of something else that makes them stand out. So let's talk about the itinerary. It is a 7-day cruise. It sails July 24th to the 31st. It starts in Vancouver, British Columbia, and it ends in Whittier, which is a port out about an hour outside of Anchorage. You can, we'll talk about pre and post cruise a little bit, but you could fly into Whittier. I'm sorry, fly into Vancouver and fly home from Whittier or Anchorage. I think personally, my family, and this will be open to you as well, we've talked about flying into Seattle and doing a few days in Seattle, just low-key days to kind of adjust to the time change. And then there's a coastal train that you can take from Seattle to Vancouver. It's about a 4-hour train ride. We love a train ride. My kids love that. I have said anywhere I can go on the train, I will go because that's just such a relaxing way to travel, I think. So Vancouver to Whittier. And then there are 3 ports along the way. Yep, there's the map for you. So the cruise we're doing is called the Northbound Voyage of the Glaciers. So if you take a look, oh, look what Brian's doing there. He's got that little blue dot. He is following that red line. It starts in Vancouver. The first port is Ketchikan. Then we're going up to Juneau and then Skagway. And you can see when it kind of dips in there after Skagway, that's Glacier Bay National Park. And then we go, oh, look at this. He's so fancy, isn't he? Then we're going from Glacier Bay National Park towards Whittier. Now, up there, it's kind of hard to see on the map. You can see where it says College Fjord. This is really cool because this is a very protected area of Alaska. And I was just reading about this the other day. In the summer, the humpback whales go there to feed because there's lots of nutrient dense, I don't know, fish, I guess. So they go there to feed. And my Alaskan goal is to see a whale. So I'm really hoping that this will be the place. And then from College Fjord, we're right there at Whittier, and you can kind of see where Whittier is up to Anchorage. Again, that's about an hour. And so we'll disembark in Whittier, and then Princess has a transfer that we can take from Whittier to Anchorage. So that's the itinerary. A few things about these ports that we're visiting. Ketchikan is called Alaska's first city. They call it that because it's the first stop as you travel north. Usually that's where everybody stops. So they have a lot of Native American history there. Some possible excursions you can do. They have lumberjack shows. Allison was just telling me how she didn't go to a lumberjack show. She did something else when they were in Ketchikan, but she could hear the lumberjack show from where she was. So you could do that. There's salmon fishing, again, that where you can catch your own fish and they'll bring it back on board and make it for you. That day in port is a little bit shorter. It's a 6 a.m. We arrive in Ketchikan and then we leave at 2 p.m. Brian, can you go back to that map real quick? Because if you see, we have quite a way to go between Ketchikan and Juneau because it has to like wind around all those little islands. It's not a straight shot north there. So we're only in port until 2 p.m. The next stop, thanks, Brian. The next stop is Juneau, which is the capital of Alaska. So many things to do there. And we are there 8 a.m. to 9:15 p.m. So much time to plan an excursion and kind of wander around the town. I found a really cool like walking tour for foodies through the city, which I know Brian will want to jump on. Another thing we want to do, they have like dog sled summer classes where you can go to a dog sled training facility and they put you on these sleds and the dogs run through gravel basically. And they're basically training for the Iditarod because then once they're on the snow, it's easier for them to move around. And because the sleds slide easier through the snow than gravel, obviously. And they're not pulling six people, they're only pulling one person. So it's training camp for them. There's whale watching, there's kayaking. You can rent one of those, or not rent, you can charter, yeah, like one of those Zodiac blow up inflatable boats. I don't know, I feel like that would make me nervous, but teach their own. So lots of things to do in Juneau. And then the last port is Skagway, which is a gold rush town. Again, lots of things to do. There's rock climbing, there's bike tours, there's raft adventures. You can take a train when you're in Skagway. And that port is 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. So again, another really long day in port, which is really nice. So Ketchikan is a little bit shorter. Um, Allison, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, she also told me that if you don't want to do an excursion every day, that you're in port, Ketchikan is a really cool place to just kind of wander around. Allison, do you want to say anything about Ketchikan since you've been there? If Brian will unmute you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a really fun day. We didn't do the lumberjack, but you could hear it from the like main part of the town. And it almost looks like an old gold rush town or in the West. There was like wood plank walkways and a lot of souvenir shops that were super reasonable. We did most of our like t-shirt shopping and stuff in Ketchikan. We went to and I think it was like a Native American experience, and we went into like a thing and learned about totem poles and stuff, which is really inexpensive and not a super long day. So it was a nice little short extra bonus excursion because we did three big excursions, so to speak, throughout the rest of the trip. And then we just were like, oh, this is just like a little sidebar. But really, really cute town, really fun to walk around. You'll have enough time there with the amount of time that you're docked there. I wouldn't worry about that. So perfect.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So then I think Brian, you have next a picture of Glacier Bay. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So Glacier Bay is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which gives it certain protection for the area and for the animals that are there. When we are in Glacier Bay, so it happens for Glacier Bay and College Fjord. They're called scenic cruising days. And basically that means that the ship is going to go into that area. It's not going to dock, but it's almost going to completely stop. And then it turns 180 degrees. So you go in one way and then the ship turns really slowly so that you get 360-degree views of the entire area. And it's just kind of a day to chill. You can sit on your balcony, you can sit in the buffet and look out the windows. One thing that Princess does is that if anybody spots any wildlife on the shore, they make an announcement over the ships and they say, whales over here or bears over here. And you can go, and kind of try and spot them yourselves, which is really cool. That's the day that the park rangers will come on board. And there's also a junior ranger program for the kids that day. So initially I was like, what are we going to do with our kids when we're scenic cruising, right? They're going to be like, cool, that's a lot of ice. Now what? So they'll probably be in the kids club during the day and they'll be doing some really, really cool things there that are geared more towards kids. And then College Fjord is in Prince William Sound, and that's the same thing. So you go into Prince William Sound, and that's where we're going to go. I think it says 500 miles farther than most cruise lines can go to see College Fjord, and that's where the humpback whales feed in the summer. So my fingers are crossed that we get to see some whales in there. Okay, let's talk about stateroom options. Okay, so on the ship, there are a bunch of different staterooms. I have three types of rooms on hold. They're set at group pricing. So the pricing is being held. Current pricing right now, if you were to go online, is higher than the pricing that I have on hold because I put them on hold when the rooms were released. So we have three types of staterooms. There's a mini suite with a balcony stateroom, and an inside stateroom. As you go through these, they're going to get a little bit smaller as you go, and we're going to show you more about that. But the mini suite and the balcony stateroom both have private balconies, so you can sit outside in your pajamas, drink your coffee. That's my favorite thing to do in the morning on a cruise. Look at the beautiful scenery. Maybe in Alaska, put on a hat too and a coat. Um, so you can do that in the morning. And you can go to your stateroom at any point during the day, and you know that you have that area to enjoy the scenery. Look for some wildlife. The inside stateroom is not going to have a view of the outside. However, again, you can they'll make announcements if there is wildlife that they're showing. They'll make announcements over the loudspeaker. And so if you're in your stateroom, you can go, oh, I want to go see that bear. And you can leave your stateroom. So it's not like you're in there and you won't know what's happening. Also, if an inside stateroom is in your budget, don't feel like you have to spend more for that private balcony because there are so many places on the ship that you can go to view the scenery, especially on those scenic cruising days. There's so many places to hang out. And again, these ships were designed to be in Alaska, so they have that in mind. They know that not everybody's going to have a balcony. So let's look a little more at those rooms. We have some floor plans for you so you can kind of compare. The first one we're going to look at is a mini suite. Now, when we cruised with Princess before, we got a mini suite. We had our kids with us, and we wanted a little bit of extra space because it was a 7-night cruise. I loved the mini suite. It was fabulous. My favorite part about it is you can see kind of in between the bed and the sofa, there's a curtain there. So we were able to put our kids to bed. The sofa turned into a twin bed, and then there was a pull down Pullman bed from the ceiling. Then that's where Nora slept. So our kids slept over there. We took a little nightlight with us. We would set it up on the desk. Then we would pull that curtain, and we did not have to go to bed at the same time as our children. And that was fabulous for us. Thank you, Brian. And then the other thing I really like about these princess rooms, yep, that's where the curtain would be. So a little bit of separation, which is also nice if you have older kids as well, because it gives you a little bit of privacy. Can pull that curtain, somebody can be on one side getting changed, somebody's on the other. You know, that's really nice too. Also, we would sneak outside to go sit on the balcony at night after the kids were asleep, and we never woke them up. I don't know how, knock on wood, our kids are good sleepers like that, and the balcony door opening and closing was fine for them. So, the other thing I like about this, you can see to the left of the bed, the closet space is enormous. It was so nice. All of the rooms have that beautiful closet space. There goes Brian again. It was so nice. We were able to fit all of our clothes in there for a 7-night cruise. There are some formal nights, so we did have some things that we wanted to hang up, dress shirts and dress pants. That's another story, kind of, Brian. The short version of the story is Brian forgot to pack all of his dress pants to go on the cruise. Um, that's another story. Anyway, we fit all our stuff in there and it was fabulous. One thing about this stateroom that's different from the others is there is a bathtub. So if for any reason you need a bathtub and not a stand-up shower, this is the room you're going to want. The other two rooms have a shower. Okay. Next, we're looking at the balcony. Again, you can see there is that giant closet space. There's a stand-up shower instead of the tub. Now, let's see. Uncle Eddie and Aunt Karen. Okay, yeah, you are on here. This stateroom does not have a couch. Only the deluxe balconies have couches. So this stateroom doesn't. What you see is what it is. So if you want a little more space, if you want the couch, the living room area, go with the mini suite. The balcony is going to look like this. Yep, you can kind of see it took out that couch like living room area. But everything else is basically the same here. Now you can put 4 people in this room. However, the other 2 people are going to be in pull down beds from the ceiling. So the queen bed would have to separate into 2 twin beds. So if you want to stay in this one, that's a great question, Sarah. I don't know that answer off the top of my head. I have to look at that. Sarah asked if there is a mini suite with a walk-in shower. I'll make a note, Sarah, and find out. So if you want to stay in a balcony with more than 2 people, that queen bed is going to split apart into 2 twins. Okay. All right, Brian, you're gonna go to the interior. So this is the interior stateroom. Again, nice big closet, walk-in shower. You're not going to have a view of the outside. It is smaller. You can see the square feet there. Part of the reason it's smaller is because it doesn't have that outside space. One thing that I didn't tell Allison I was going to say this, but one thing that's going to be nice about an interior stateroom is when we are in Alaska, there's going to be 18 to 19 hours of sunlight per day. And I've heard that like can really mess with your sleep schedule. If you are in an interior room, that's not going to bother you because you're going to go in that room and you're going to go to sleep and you're not going to know the sun's still shining. Allison told me that when she had little kids, they would always stay in an interior room because the kids would wake up at like 8 in the morning and be like, and she'd say, "Oh, it's still nighttime. See how dark it is?" And they'd go back to bed. And that was the best sleep she ever got, was on a cruise in an interior room with her kids. So definitely a benefit of being in an interior room. You're not going to need to worry about like a sleep mask or anything like that. So, Roger, yes, you can. So these are the stateroom choices for the group. The rooms are not assigned. So once you pick and you're ready to book, we will take a look at the deck plans and we will pick a specific room for you. So if you want to be in a specific part of the ship, on a specific side of the ship, we can look and see what's available. Availability is always better the earlier you book. So if you have certain criteria that you really want, booking sooner is better than booking later. All right. So let's talk about the cost then. You saw all the different staterooms. So the staterooms starting at this is our double occupancy. The price is per person. So that price is double occupancy. Sorry, it does say that right there. So the inside stateroom for 2 people is starting at $2,238. You can see the jump from an inside stateroom to a balcony stateroom. That's why I wanted to grab some of those rooms. The price difference is pretty big. Once you add that balcony, again, part of that reason is because you're in Alaska and everybody wants that private access to get outside. And then from the balcony to the mini suite goes up about $800. Now, those are starting prices. The third and fourth guest are much cheaper. So if you want to have a room with more than two people, the second people have a lower rate than that. Okay. So it says down there from 709. The $709 is for the price of the third and fourth guest in an interior stateroom. The $1,129 is the cost of the third and the fourth guest in a mini suite. So for my family, we'll be traveling with our kids. So the price for us, for Brian and I, if we want to book a mini suite, is the $6,878. And then our kids would each be $1,129. So their price is much cheaper. So let's talk about what's included. Okay, you get your accommodation for 7 nights. That's all your meals. Okay, so think about that. You know, you're going to eat when you go on vacation. So what I always like to do is like start dividing it. Okay, so I'm going to take the total price. I'm going to divide it by 2 people. I'm going to subtract, how many meals am I going to eat during that time? Some of us eat different on vacation than when we eat it the way we eat at home. So you might eat a little more when you're away than you would when you're at home. So take that into account. That's Brian. Yes. Port fees and taxes are included in those prices. Entertainment on the ship, the shows at night, the puppies in the piazza, those activities, the park rangers coming on board, all of those things are included. Those are not an extra cost. So then underneath that, take a look at your additional costs. Gratuities. That's for the people on the ship who are making all the things happen. So your stateroom attendant who's going to clean your room and, like housekeeping when you go to a hotel. The servers in the restaurants, the bartenders. So that's who gratuities are going to. Flights are not included. Any shore excursion. So anything that you want to do once you get off the ship is an additional price. The pre and post cruise, which we're going to talk about in a minute, that's an additional cost, and travel insurance as well. Now you can get travel insurance through Princess, and I can kind of talk you through what that looks like. Or we work with a third-party travel insurance company called Travel Insured. That's usually who I purchase my travel insurance from. And, that's an option as well. So I can quote, if you decide you want to book, I'll quote all those different options to you. So you can decide if that's something you want for your family and what's best for you. And there's different price points. The other thing that's not included is Princess Plus and Premier, which we're going to go to the next slide. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. Roger asks, what's the standard for gratuities? Princess gratuities are $17 per person per day. So you can prepay them with your cruise package, or you can wait to pay them until you're on board. I always recommend you prepay because then you can kind of budget for that. If you wait to pay them till you're on board, then you get a bill on the last night of your cruise, and that's not really fun. Then you go, oh no, I didn't prepay my gratuities. Now I have to pay them now. So I always recommend prepaying them. So Princess has these 2 packages. If you have cruised before, you know you can buy things like a drink package, a photo package, a specialty dining package. Princess has 2 packages. They have the Princess Premier and the Princess Plus. And I will tell you, Brian and I were just looking at cruises recently with another cruise line, and we were looking at the cost of drink packages. And he said to me, man, I really miss that Princess package right now because it's such a great value. So let's take a look at what you get here. You want to look at that the pink line on the pre-cruise savings. Yep, the pre-cruise price. We are looking at $100 per person per day for Princess Premier. Now, this is in addition to the prices you saw on the previous page. For Princess Plus, it's $65 per person per day. Okay. You can ignore that blue line underneath. That's for the two newest ships, the Sun and the Star Princess. We are not going on that one or on those ships. Oh, and I'm sorry. I just realized I didn't tell you. We're going on the Discovery Princess. I apologize. That ship was launched in 2022. So it is relatively newer. It is not the newest. So sorry about that. The Discovery Princess. Okay, so what's included with these packages? Gratuities, Wi-Fi, something that people almost always want when they go on a cruise. Specialty dining is included in the Premier package. Casual dining is included with both packages. Drinks, coffee, water, sodas, non-alcoholic beverages, alcoholic beverages, juices, all those things are included. You can get room service on the cruise. If you have purchased a package, there is no fee for the room service, which is really nice. With the Premier package, you also get $100 excursion credit per person. So if Brian and I were to purchase a Premier package, I would have $100 off an excursion and he would get $100 off an excursion. So all of this is per person. You get photos with the Premier package, and there's reserved seating in the theaters for like the nighttime shows with the Premier package. So what I would say, we're going to take a look at, is this worth it, right? How do you decide if this makes sense? So on this slide, you can see we kind of broke it down here, and I apologize. I just noticed we switched the Plus and the Premier. So on the last slide, Premier was first and Plus was second, but we switched them. So everybody has to pay gratuities. That's regardless of whether you have a package, everybody has to pay that. It's $17 per person per day. So each one of these columns is a daily price. So if you take a look at Princess Plus, you can see that's $65. The gratuities are $17. You will most likely want Wi-Fi, right? You want to take pictures of Allison's background, and you want to post it on Facebook and be like, look at this amazing glacier I saw today, right? Or you want to send it to your friend who wishes she was also in Alaska and say, look at this, I can't believe this, I saw a whale. Wi-Fi to purchase outside of Wi-Fi to purchase outside of a package for one device is $25. Now with Princess Plus, you get no excursion credit. So take the $65 for the package, subtract the $17 that you have to pay anyway, subtract the $25 that you are probably going to pay anyway. Now that package is only costing you $23 per day. It's a lot. That number for me is a lot easier to deal with. I love that. Let's take a look at the Premier. Same thing with the gratuities. Now, Wi-Fi with the Princess Premier, you get up to 4 devices with Wi-Fi. So if you wanted to purchase that separately, it would cost $45 per person per day. So I typically work when I'm on vacation. I'm kind of, off and on with emails and whatnot. So I like to be able to use my phone and my computer. So that's 2 devices. So to have the Princess Plus with the 1 device for me isn't going to be quite enough. I like to have those multiple devices. So Princess Premier is going to give me that. And then we get the excursion credit, which is $100 total. So what we did is we divided that by the 7 days you're on the cruise. So it's about $14 a day. So the $100 for the package, minus gratuities, minus the Wi-Fi for 4 devices, minus that excursion credit, now it's about $24 per person per day. Again, That's a much easier number to swallow than the $100 per person per day because you see what you're getting for that. So let's take a look then underneath the chart. What are you going to use that $24 for? Well, if you have small children like me, you're going to drink at least 2 coffees per day. So the coffees are running $4 to $6. We're on vacation, we're going to have a cocktail. Average cocktail, $10 to $15, probably around 12, you know. Or maybe you don't want a cocktail, maybe you just want a pina colada while you watch the whales. So that's going to be between six to $8. All of those things start to add up. So if you have 2 cocktails a day, you're almost already breaking even. Add a coffee on top of that, now you're winning. Then there's the dining on top of that. So casual dining is approximately $15 a person. Specialty dining is about $55 a person. Why is that important? Not everybody drinks, right? You go, I don't really need a cocktail. I don't need to have a glass of wine with dinner. I'll just drink water. No problem. No problem. You know you're going to eat while you're on vacation, right? There are plenty of places to eat on the ship that are complimentary and included in the cruise price. However, what's nice about this is it's a 7-day cruise. We have 3 ports. So 2 full days, and then that day in Ketchikan is about half of a day. So you have a good 3 solid days on the ship. So when we cruised with Princess before, we went, okay, well, it was a similar itinerary with 3 different ports. And so we said, okay, how many meals are we going to eat on the ship? Do we want to eat them all at the buffet and the main dining room? We wanted to have a lot of options. And like I said to you, Princess has some fabulous food. There are 3 additional casual restaurants. So let's see here. With the Princess Plus, we get 4 casual dining meals per person for the cruise. With the Premier, it's unlimited. Now, where this is nice that it's unlimited is they have gelati on the ship. And they have not just gelati, like, tiny little bowls of ice cream. They have these giant sundaes that they can make you. They have the best chocolate cake I think I've ever eaten in my life. Sorry, Mom. Yours is a close second, Mom. But they have, so we would take the kids there. We'd come back from the pool and the kids would be like, "Oh, I'm hungry. I need a little treat before we go to dinner." Okay, that's fine. Let's stop and get some gelati. Unlimited. So that was really nice. There's an Irish pub on board, and there's a place called Gigi's Pizzeria, which has no business being on a cruise ship because it is that good. Are you correcting me? Sorry. Oh, okay. So Brian has some questions. He's answering some questions in the chat. So if you have questions, again, feel free to post them in there. So 3 casual dining places, an Irish pub, the Gelato, and Gigi's Pizzeria. And then there's 3 specialty meals on top of that. So the specialty dining with the Premier is unlimited. This is where you're going to have your dinners. There's an Italian restaurant called Sabatini's. There's a steakhouse called the Crown Grill. And there's a seafood restaurant called The Catch. We ate at Sabatini's. It was Italian. We are not a huge pasta eating family. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was maybe the best meal I've ever had in my life. Just every course they brought out, we were like, there's more coming. Like it was so good. And I actually think we were there so long, we paused our meal halfway through and Brian took the kids to the kids club because they were going downhill fast. And I just sat and looked out the window and drank my wine and it was lovely. The Crown Grill steaks, delicious. We did not eat at the Catch because I'm going to tell you a secret here. I don't eat seafood. which is funny because we're going to Alaska. So the night that there is Alaskan seafood in the main dining room, my family will be so happy. And I don't know, I'll order a cheeseburger. So that'll be interesting. Um, but my in-laws ate at the Catch when they sailed with Princess. I think they ended up eating there more than once because they liked it so much. So really, really good dining. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Um, do you have to purchase a package? No, you don't. You should do what works best for you and your family. There's plenty of complimentary dining on board. Everything is very good. There's the main dining room. There's the International Cafe where you can get like coffees and teas and sandwiches and pastries. There's the buffet. There is a pizzeria by the pool where you can go and get slices of pizza. It's not quite as upscale as Gigi's Pizzeria, but it's very good. There's a hot dog place also by the pool, and there's soft serve ice cream. So if you decide, hey, I don't need all that extra special food, that's no problem. You're not going to go hungry, I promise. We always joke and say that Ben is meant to be on a cruise because he loves to eat all the time, everything. If we didn't have the package, he would still be able to eat everything all of the time. Are there questions, Brian, that you want me to address? Yes. Yes. So if you are booking with me, I will help you with those reservations. I can call in and make those for you. But yes, I highly recommend having reservations. You can always try to get in once you're on board. But then the options are going to be a little bit more limited because most people will have made their reservations first. So I can help you with that. We can plan what you want to do. That would only be for the specialty dining. And I also recommend it for the main dining room. Princess does not have a main dining room seating like other cruise lines do, which I actually like because we made reservations that worked with our schedule. So we didn't always eat at the same time every day. We didn't end up eating at the same table. You can request that, but it doesn't always work out that way just because people move their reservations around. But it made it really easy to book specialty dining as well. All right. So is it worth it? It might, you have to decide for you. For us, it was. We purchased the Princess Premier package. We will purchase it again for this cruise. I do think it was worth it for us, especially with the excursion credit, right? Factor that in. Everybody who's going to Alaska wants to get off the ship and do a really cool thing that they've never done before. So you're most likely going to do an excursion. One thing I want to point out is that the Plus and Premier, if you add them to your stateroom, initially they're only on the first and second guest. So you don't have to add it for your kids if you don't want to. Maybe you want to, not take your kids to specialty dining. That's your call. You don't have to have it for everybody, right? We didn't.
No, we didn't.
We didn't. We didn't get it for our kids.
Where can we leave our kids with my dad?
Yeah. Linda and Dave are going to watch our kids and we're going to go to the Italian restaurant. We forgot to tell them that. Okay, great. Now that we have that set up. So let's talk about what is the benefit of booking in a group. We kind of joke that when you book a group cruise, you don't have to stay with the group the whole time. We're not going to walk through the ship and hold hands. We don't have to do all the same things and eat at all the same meals. Unless you want to, you can do that. Totally your call. So don't feel like if you book with the group that you don't get to pick what you want to do. The main benefit is what you see in this first picture is you're getting locked in low rates. The prices I showed you are lower than what you're going to see online. Cruise pricing is fluid. The closer you get to the sail date, the higher the price goes. It's supply and demand. So as those rooms start to sell and there's less of them, the price is going to go up. The rates I have are locked in. So that's really nice. The other nice thing about it is cruise lines are releasing promotions all the time. I was on the phone with Princess this week and they said, well, let's check your group rates and see if your group rates are better than the current promos. So I could see what that was. And they said, if they're not, then we'll book the current promo and just move it into the group. Great. So you're going to get the lowest rate regardless. I'm going to make sure that you do. Um, the group rates currently are better than the promos. So that's exciting. Usually January promos are the best because everybody's booking their travel in January. So those rates are already lower than what you'll see if you book online. Um, Another benefit is that if you book in the group, you're automatically going to get $50 of onboard credit per stateroom. So that can be used for towards excursions. You can use it toward the spa. You can use it to make purchases on board. It's up to you. So that's an additional benefit. You're also getting personalized service. I am here to help you with this every step of the way. If you have questions, come to me. I will answer them for you. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to call Princess and find out. You don't have to do the research. You don't have to worry about how am I going to get from Vancouver airport to the cruise port. I'm going to help you with all of that. So that gives you a lot of peace of mind. I'm with you. I'm going to be there. I'm doing it too. I'm doing it with my family. Um, so we're all in this together and you don't have to feel like, oh no, I'm going on this big trip and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm there. If you need something, you can text me. Remember, I'm going to have those 4 devices. So you'll be able to get in touch with me through my Princess Premiere, and Brian will be there too. And like I said, he's usually in the background doing things, but you'll get to interact with him a little bit too. Um, so I'm with you every step of the way. Some pre and post cruise add-ons. I talked to you about Seattle a little bit. Yes,
Was it?
yes, the prices were per couple. Yep. Darlene wants to know, do we help with booking flights? So I don't book flights. However, Brian Langdon is the flight booking king. He books all the flights for all the people. No, I shouldn't say that. He finds all the flights. He will help you. He will walk you through the process. Um, I often set up phone calls between him and my clients, and he helps them find good flights and book and, know what rates are good. Do you want to jump in and say anything about
Sure.
flights?
Yeah, so there's no flights available out for 2027 yet. Um, Now you can hear me, right? There you go. Cool. So there's no flights out yet for 2027. Flights usually get released around 360 days ahead of time, depending on the airline. But yeah, I'm here to help. One of my hobbies is searching airline flights and getting the pricing and everything. So, yeah, so I'd be more than happy to help you. There you go.
All right. Yes, main dining room is complimentary. I don't remember who just asked that, but yes, it is Tracy. Main dining room is complimentary. Yep. And it was very, very good. I had zero complaints about the main dining room. So we typically just did dinner there because we would go to the buffet often for lunch instead of doing like a sit down. But yes, it was very good. And that's included in the cruise price. Okay, so pre-cruise in Seattle. most likely, and then the train to Vancouver. Now, if you don't want to do that part, if you just want to fly into Vancouver, you could do that and we will meet you there. That's not a problem. We went to California last summer and I just remember how long it took the kids to adjust to the time change. And I don't want to feel like they're sleeping away the cruise. So we want to adjust to that a little bit first. And then again, the train ride. I love a train ride. Um, After the cruise. So, Brian, can you put the map back on by any chance? So, the cruise I selected is a one-way northbound and ends in Anchorage. Um, what I would like to do after the cruise is you can take the Alaska Railroad north to Denali National Park. And that is my goal for after the cruise. I've looked into this a lot, but again, pricing's not out yet for 2027. So what I'm thinking is there is the Alaska Railroad has these amazing like domed trains where the ceiling and the walls are glass. So it's almost like taking the train and being outside. I want to ride that train so bad. So my thought is we're going to take the train from Anchorage to Denali. It's a 9-hour train ride. Um, Brian said it's in this video. You'll be able to see it a little bit. Oh, there it is. It's amazing. It's like being outside, but on the train. So it's 9 hours north to Denali, and then spend a few nights in Denali so that we can, get into the park, see some wildlife, things like that. I want to be actually in Alaska. Um, Possible stop in Talkeetna, either on the way to Denali or on the way back. Talkeetna is about halfway between Anchorage and Denali. So that's a possibility. Again, I have to price it out. I'm not really sure because pricing's not available for 2027 yet. But I will tell you, Brian and I are not 5-star resort people. We have 2 little kids. We like things like free breakfast. So I am not trying to, have the fanciest tour. We want to get into Alaska. We want to see the area. So that's kind of the goal. You do not have to book that part. If you want to just do the cruise, you could get off the cruise, take the transfer through Princess from Whittier to Anchorage, and fly out of Anchorage either that day or the next day. I could book you a night in Anchorage if you want to do that, and you could fly home the next day. Um, really low key. I want this to be the trip that you want. You do not have to come with us. Again, we don't have to hold hands every step of the way. So you do what works for you, for your comfort, for your time availability. Probably Brian and I are looking at being away about 2 weeks. Not everybody can do that. I'm lucky because my job comes with me wherever I go, and Brian's a teacher. So, we can go away for 2 weeks in the summer, but I understand that not everybody can do that. So you do what works for you. And certainly if you feel like you're ready to book a cruise now, you can say to me, I'm interested in this post-cruise trip, but there's no commitment until you see prices and you see what we're doing, you see the time frame. I wouldn't expect you to commit to something like that without having all that information. But that's what I'm thinking for right now. All right. So I think that, oh my goodness, I've been talking a long time. I apologize. That's all the things I have to say, I think. One more thing, because pricing, we do have this pricing on hold. If you book in the next 2 weeks by January 23rd, that's a Friday, we're going to give you an extra $25 of onboard credit per stateroom. Again, that onboard credit can go towards excursions, the spa, um, purchases on the ship, anything like that. So think about if you're interested in the Princess Premier, you're getting the $100 excursion credit. That's per person. Then for booking with the group, you automatically get $50 onboard credit. So that's 125 per person. And then you get this extra 25. That's per cabin. So for two people, do that math for me, Brian. It's $275 that you could use towards an excursion. Now, Alaska excursions can get expensive. I was looking at them yesterday with Ben, and he saw this picture of a yacht, and he pointed and he's like, "That's the one I want to do. Look at the fish that guy's holding." And I was like, "Baby, that excursion is $1,500. You will not be doing that in Alaska, but thank you for letting me know. We will look for a cheaper one, and maybe just you and Daddy will go."
Is there a place to see all the excursion options?
Yes, there is a place to see all the excursion options. Great question. So, after our meeting, probably tomorrow, Brian is going to email out the recording of this so you can go back and look and see anything that you might have missed. We're also going to send you some links in there to look at the specific cruise that we're going on the Princess website, and that's where you're going to find the excursions. We'll also send you like the chart of the Princess Plus and Premier so you can kind of compare those. That's a great question. Princess offers a lot of excursions. So, while that one that Ben wants to do is $1,500, there's also some that are $50, and it's it really depends on your budget and what you want to do. And I think that was nice when Allison pointed out that like you can go to Ketchikan and have a great day there and not have to do an excursion, save a little bit of money there, and maybe put that money towards a whale watching or salmon fishing on a yacht. And you can take a picture and tell Ben how it was because he's not doing that. Yeah. So again, that's if you book by January 23rd. That's 2 weeks from tomorrow. You get an extra $25 onboard credit as as a thank you from us. All right. And bring a friend with you. Magical Memory Planners has a great referral program where you receive a $25 gift card if you refer friends or family members to me and they book a package through me. Whether you decide you want to go to Alaska or not, whether you book a trip with me or not, if you tell somebody else and say, "Oh, Mandi Langdon books trips and they want to go to Universal Studios," and I book them a trip to Universal Studios, I say to people, "Did somebody refer you to me?" Then they give you my name, and then we send you a $25 gift card as a thank you for your referral. So bring a friend or refer a friend and receive a $25 gift card. Okay. Um, Jen asked, what is the deposit? All right. Yep. Here's the next steps. All right. There's our website created by Brian Langdon. LF is Langdon Family. So it's langdonfamilytravels.com. There is a Langdon travel agency. That is not us. We do not have our own travel agency. We are part of Magical Memory Planners. But that's why it's LF Travels, because it is something totally different. So go there. That will have all the details and information. On there, there's a link where it says, what does it say? Tell me more, or can you tell me? I don't remember exactly. He is looking right now. I apologize. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Wow, he's good. I thought it was just coming up on his computer. So that's what it'll look like when you pull it up. And then on the right, it says ready to get your quote or reserve your cabin. Fill out our interest form by clicking here. So if you click there, it's going to ask you some questions that help me know exactly what you're looking for. How many guests? If you have anybody under 18, I need to know how old they are. Any information you want to tell me. Then if you look down a little farther, it says, are you interested on post-cruise travel? You don't, if you say yes, that doesn't lock you into anything. None of this locks you into anything. All of this is a free service to you. That's what Magical Memory Planners does. This is a complimentary service to help you figure out if this is the right trip for you. So don't feel like you can't ask for a quote if you're not 100% sure. And so you can fill this out, and then I'll be in touch with you and we can talk about your different options. We can do that through email. We can set up a FaceTime. We can do it on the phone, whatever works best for you. And there's Brian showing his beautiful website that he made for us. All right. And so then the next thing, Jen, this will answer your question. The deposit to book a room is $250 per person, and that is due at the time of booking. That is fully refundable. This is another thing I love about Princess. Everything you pay towards your cruise is completely refundable up until final payment, which is April 2027. So I love that because who knows what's going to happen a year and a half from now, right? We have kids, who knows? The only thing I can guarantee is we won't be having any more kids in 2027. So, it's just nice to know, even if you purchase an insurance policy, if something happens, everything is fully refundable up until that final payment. And the actual date is April 25th, 2027. And you don't need to write that down. I'll let you know all of that, but just so you know, for your own peace of mind, if you decide now you want to book and something changes, just reach out to me. We'll talk through it. You are not locked in. You can change your mind, and that is okay. Once you have paid your deposit, then I'll start sending you more information about Princess. We'll start your countdown to when do we get to go on vacation. Sometimes we make those advent chains for vacation. This trip is a little too far out to do that at this point. But I just got a little countdown for Christmas that I'm gonna put my cruise on there, although it only has 2 numbers, so I have to wait quite a while yet until I can add that on there. Because it's not into the 3 digits yet. Yeah, so those are the next steps. Does anybody have any questions that Brian hasn't answered?
People have a question about disembarkment. It says we arrive at 12:30 a.m. But what time did you get out?
Okay, great question. So the ship arrives in port at 12:30 a.m. If you can pull up that map, Brian, you can see that College Fjord is not very far away from Whittier. So we're going to spend some time cruising in College Fjord, and then we'll arrive in Whittier at 12:30 in the morning. That does not mean you have to get off the ship at 12:30 in the morning. That's just what time we come into port. Disembarkation happens after the cruise ship clears customs, and they have to do a lot of things at the port, which will most likely all happen while we are asleep. Cruise ship turnaround times, for those of you who haven't been on a cruise ship before, are phenomenal. This is crazy to me. Typically, all of the people on board are off by 10 a.m. because the people who are going on the next cruise on the southbound and following that blue line back down to Vancouver start boarding around 11 a.m. So they have to get all of the current passengers off so that they can go to clean the ship and clean the rooms and flip everything over, and the next set of people can get on the ship. So it is earlier in the morning. Um, Again, we like a free breakfast. We've already paid for breakfast on the ship. We always eat breakfast on the ship on that last morning. It gets really crazy. But we try to make a point to do that because why would you not pay for a meal or eat a meal that you've already paid for, right? So that's what we do. We get up early, we eat breakfast, and then we disembark the ship. Um, and if we are going to take the Princess transfer from Whittier to Anchorage, it's about an hour on like a tour bus. They'll tell us what time to disembark because my guess is probably a lot of people are going to be taking that transfer because you can't leave from Whittier. It's just the port. There's nothing else there. Um, so you so you take the transfer to Anchorage Airport, and they'll tell us what time that would need to be. Um, if you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Brian, I just realized we didn't put my info on here. We have a lovely thank you slide on the end that Brian can put up, but it doesn't have my actual info. Do you want to put my email in there? Can you do that real quick? Um, please feel free to reach out to me. You can use the, thanks, Allison. You just see, we're new at this. You can go to our website and fill out the form. That's the next step. And again, this is complimentary. This is costing you nothing to have a conversation with me. So if you feel like this is something you're interested in, I would love to talk more about that with you. If you feel like, nah, this isn't really something you're ready to do right now, that's okay too. If you are still interested in vacation, I would love to help you get to wherever you want to go. So thank you so much for coming. Um, that's all I have. Do you have anything to say, Brian? Oh, here he comes.
Thank you, everyone. We worked really hard for this and getting this together. So thank you so much for being here. So we didn't just talk to ourselves. So have a great night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and reach out to us with any questions. All right. Thank you.